As we think about the resurrected life, it has an effect. The text that we looked at in 2 Corinthians 5 is so amazing, right? One of my all-time favorite passages. Favorite for so many reasons. It's a reconciliation passage, which is all about Easter. It's all about Jesus. Jesus reconciled us to the Father. He was the instrument of reconciliation. He took what was broken and made it repaired. He took what was wrong and made it right. He took what was lost and made it found. He was the instrument of reconciliation that brings us to God. So the passage, we said, does three things. The reconciliation, what God does for us in reconciliation through Jesus, does three things. It gives us a new motivation. Verse 14, 2 Corinthians 5:14. It gives us a new observation. It gives us a new identification. Three things. Let's think about the motivation deal. Motivation is great, right? Zig Ziglar says, they say motivation doesn't last. Well, neither does bathing. That's why we recommend it daily. Motivation has to be something I come back to. So what I come back to is my true identity. What I come back to is the identity of two people, God's identity, Christ's identity, and my identity because of him. When I come back to that, verse 14 kicks in. For Christ's love compels us, moves us, motivates us. For Christ's love compels us because we are convinced. Someone who's motivated about something is convinced about something. And listen to what he says we're convinced of. For we're convinced that one died for all, therefore all died. And he died for all. Here's the motivational shift. That those who live, who've been the resurrected Christ, should no longer live for themselves, but live for him who died for them and was raised again. That's a new motivation. That's our new motivation. It's out of the wellspring of Christ's presence in us, his love for us, and his love in us that can flow through us. Today, be motivated. Be motivated. Not out of guilt, not out of condemnation, because those don't come from him. There is therefore now no condemnation for those who are, there's that little phrase, in Christ Jesus in Romans chapter 8, verse 1. 164 times the phrase in Christ is used. That's the identification piece out of verse 17. Don't get me going, because we're just talking about motivation here. Motivation is like the guy that looked out his window and said, I looked out my window and saw 3 people running. Motivated me to stop looking out my window. Your motivation determines what you do, why you do what you do, or why you don't do. Today, be sure and eliminate whatever distractions are in your life and schedule that might interfere with you living and loving like Jesus, and let his love be your motivation. I'll see you tomorrow.